So a couple of months ago, I had to stop recording videos because I had recorded just a bunch of videos. I recorded 60 videos in a month, right? And that just shows you how easy this business model is of recording content. And everyone talks about I work this hard or I work so hard, but honestly I don't work hard at all. This is so easy for me, honestly, right? I'm gonna get on how this heals me, right? But I stopped recording videos for 2 or 3 months basically. And in those 2 or 3 months I reflected a lot and I understood a lot about this path we're on, this path of self-improvement, of greatness, of being the best version of yourself, right? Now, what I realized and what I'm experiencing right now, basically, and what you might be experiencing or you will experience in the future probably, is this path of self-improvement is very, very lonely. You can't relate to anyone, you don't have any friends, no one understands the path you're on, you don't even know if it's gonna work or not, you don't even know if what you're doing is right or wrong, and everyone is just wasting their time, and it's very, very, very lonely. And I just felt this massive gap that creating content, that making videos, even videos where I give you value, where I help you, right? These videos that I make, I don't know if they're helpful for anyone at this point, but as much as they're helpful for you, they're also very, very helpful for me. So they help me as much or even more than they help you. These videos, they heal me. And that's why I always say at the end of my videos, we're in this together, we're gonna make it, we're in this together, we're gonna make it, we're in this together, we're gonna make it. I always say that because I just know, I know how lonely it can feel, and I know how hard this path can feel, but I promise you, we're gonna make it, right? I just know for a fact that in the future, I'm gonna make it, and I'm gonna just rewatch this video, and I'm just gonna tell myself, remember, man, remember when I was very lonely? This is what's gonna happen to me and you, bro. As lonely as what we're experiencing is right now, but in the future, 5, 10, 15 years in the future, we're gonna look back on this video and be like, what? We were this lonely, man, and then we made it, right? And we have all this money, and you have your wife and I have my wife, right? And we're jacked, we got our money, we got everything, we've read hundreds of books, right? And the thing that I got from Alex Hormozy, right, which is freaking brilliant, which I love, is Alex Hormozy, he said that this is the hardest part. This chapter that me and you are in, and you might not be in this chapter, honestly, you might still have friends and things like that, but if you are experiencing what I'm experiencing, and you probably are by watching this video, right? If you are in that lonely chapter where you don't fit in with anyone, you can't relate with anyone at all, this is the hardest part. This chapter, this is the hardest part. This is the hard, right? This is me and you, we expected it to be hard. We expected this journey to be very, very hard, right? This is what hard feels like. This is what hard feels like, basically. This is the price we have to pay for self-improvement. As great as self-improvement is, as great as, being healthy, being strong, being masculine, being rich, being confident, being attractive to girls, having all these benefits of self-improvement, of this amazing path, right? You just have to pay one thing. You just have to pay a price, and that price is You're different from 99% of people and you can't relate to anyone. Another thing I'll tell you is, our goal, we just have one goal. All our goal is to be exceptional, right? It's to be exceptional, it's to be the best version of ourselves, right? But the thing is, to be exceptional, to be the best, right? To be like extraordinary, to be exceptional, right? You first have to be an exception. And an exception basically means that you're different from everyone else. You have to first be different from everyone else before you can be great. And every single successful person, bro, every single successful person, if you read biographies, if you look at history, if you watch like a video of a very successful person or of his life, basically, every single person who has done something with their life has had a chapter where for like a year or many years they don't fit in with anyone, they don't have any friends, they can't relate to anyone, they're just obsessed. They're just obsessed with what they're doing and they don't care about anything. They, like when someone has like an asthma or an asthma, basically, what happens, right? When they can't breathe, they don't give a shit about girls, they don't care about parties, they don't care about anything, right? They don't care about who got married, whatever. They don't care about an outing, they don't care about anything. All they care about is just grabbing that fucking pump and breathing, right? That's exactly what's happening with us. Like, that's how bad you have to want it. That's how bad you just have to want this path. And this is what I'm experiencing, honestly, is I just want to succeed. I don't give a shit about girls, or honestly, I care about girls, honestly, but I don't care about friends, I don't care about outings, I don't care about anything, right? I don't care about anything at all except making it, except this path of self-improvement. I don't care about anything other than this. This is my pump. This is my breath. Like even when I go on like vacations, or I try to go out, or I try to do something else, in my mind, I'm like, I'd rather read a book. I'd rather meditate. I'd rather, be working out. This is just what I'm experiencing. Like this I know, like you might not be experiencing this, but I thought I'd like share what I'm feeling on like a video, because literally no one talks about this. Like, people who talk about this lonely chapter, they either made it or they're still in the beginning and they're expecting to make it, but no one ever makes it when they are in that chapter. Right now, when I'm talking to you, I am in that chapter. I can't relate to my friends. I can't even relate to my family. I can't relate to anyone. The only person I can actually talk to is you, is this camera, right? But I know I'm actually talking to someone, right? That's the only person I can actually relate to. Now, another thing you probably might be experiencing is doubt, right? You have massive insecurity. You don't know if it's gonna work. You have these like days where you're like, is this even gonna work for me? Like, is this even gonna, am I even gonna make it, right? Is all I'm doing worth it? And if you're watching this video, like, and you're experiencing like this uncertainty, this insecurity, like I'll never make it, I'm not that great, I can't do it, right? I don't know if it's gonna work or not. You just have all these thoughts, right? That is entrepreneurship. There's nothing wrong with you. That is the path you chose. That is the trait of great people. Like, they did a study about the three most common traits of hyper successful people, like the most successful people ever. And I'm quoting here, like this is Alex Hormozy, because he's like the only person who talks about this, but they basically did a study on the three most common traits of like the most successful people in the world. And those three traits, they found that they actually had like very little in common except these. The three traits were superiority complex, which is they feel like they are better than other people and that they deserve more. Like they deserve more than other people. Like they're better than other people. Right? They deserve all the money. They deserve all the status. They deserve all the women. Right? They deserve everything. And it's not like, you know, I'm better than you. No, it's like a conqueror. Like I dominate everyone. They have this like very, very high, like even arrogant thinking of themselves. Like I'm better than everyone else. I deserve to be on a yacht. I deserve to fly private jets. I deserve all these cars, right? So that's superiority complex. The second trait was that they had massive insecurity. They felt like they would never be enough, and that's actually what I'm experiencing right now, is that I feel like I'll just never be enough. Like I have all this insecurity, like all this doubt, like everyone is like, no one believes in me. Like you just have this insecurity, like you're like, is this even gonna work? Is this even gonna happen? Am I even gonna make it? And it's hard, but this is what hard feels like. And that's okay, right? Like I don't know, man, like this journey is very, very lonely. And like the message I want to just tell you, honestly, the message I want to give in this video is, if you feel lonely, if you feel like you can't relate to anyone, like there's something wrong with you, that, you know, what you're doing is never gonna work, it's old friends you used to hang out with, you can't relate to them, like you don't think this business is gonna work, you don't think anything is gonna work, you have all this doubt, all this insecurity. If you're experiencing that right now, there is nothing wrong with you. That actually means that is the lead indicator that you are on the right path, that you are lonely, that you can't relate to anyone. Because think about this, you literally, think about this for a second, right? Imagine that you took a different path and you're doing exactly what everyone else is doing, right? You're doing exactly what everyone else is doing. You know, you go to school, you get good grades, you have fun, you go to parties with your friends, you put your dreams aside, you don't focus on them at all, you just live like everyone else, right? Well, what's gonna happen to you is, you live like that in your 20s, you live like that in like the beginning, right? It's gonna feel so good and it's gonna be so fun, right? But in the future, what's gonna happen is you'll likely be obese, divorced, can't find a good wife, you'll be living paycheck to paycheck, you hate your life, and you basically kill yourself at age 42. Like the average man gets married at 30, the average marriage lasts 11 years, so 41. The average man gets divorced at 41, and the average man kills himself at 42. If that doesn't scare the fuck out of you, because that scares the living shit out of me. Like living an average life, being mediocre, that scares the shit out of me, man. I can't do it, I can't. The other day I was watching a podcast from Chris Williamson and Alex Hormozi, right? And they said this quote which I love, right? And it's Alex Hormozi's quote, which I absolutely love, which I always remember in times like these, and it will really help you, which is, you're going to lose sleep. You'll doubt whether it will work. You're stressed to make ends meet. You won't finish your to-do list. You'll wonder whether you've made the right call and have no way to know for years. This is what hard feels like, and that's okay. Everything we're doing is hard, and the more worth doing it is, the harder it is. The greater the payoff, the greater the hardship. So this is expected. Like on those days where you lose sleep, where you maybe don't meditate, you don't journal, you don't do everything you're supposed to do, you don't have any friends, you can't relate to anybody, you don't even know if it's gonna work or not. Like that's something literally every single successful person, Alex Hormozy, right, Chris Williamson, Hamza, Charlie Morgan, you know, all the successful guys we watch, Iman Gadzi, all of them have experienced the exact same thing that me and you are experiencing right now, which is the lonely chapter, which is the hardest chapter, which is the chapter where you can't fit in with anyone. The more you, like, even the more you try to fit in with everyone else, the more you realize that you're not like everyone else. And that's good. That is the lead indicator that you're on the right path. Heard this like analogy from this like Shaolin monk, which I love, by the way, which is if you go up, right, like if you're still in the middle, you're with everyone else, and then you go a little bit up, and you still got people, but then a bit of people fall off, and then you go up, you still got a lot of people, and then you go up, you go up, you go up, and then the more you go up, the more lonely it is, because no one can keep up with you. This path of self-improvement, this path of, you know, greatness, the thing about it, and no one will tell you, is you improve literally faster and more than 99.9% of people. Like, you improve so freaking fast. So because you're improving so fast, because you're leveling up so much, no one can keep up with you. No one ever can keep up with you, because you're just improving so much. You keep getting better and better and better and better and better. But what's happening is there's like this chapter where you're with everyone, and then there's like this middle where you're in that lonely chapter, which is what's happening with me and you right now. And there's this chapter here where you make it, and then you got like friends that are on the same path as you, who have survived the lonely chapter, who relate to you, and you got the money, and you got your wife, and it's amazing, right? The thing about it is this: people root for you in these two chapters, in the chapter where you're with everyone else and you're just starting out, and the chapter where you actually make it and you actually become great. But this lonely chapter, this chapter where you know you don't fit in with anyone, right? This is where no one roots for you. You can't relate to anyone. No one understands you. You don't know if it's gonna work. Like, you're just like, you have these late nights and these early mornings, and you just don't know if it's gonna work. That is the sign that you will actually be successful. That is the sign that you will actually make it. The best thing, another framework that I love thinking in is, when you make it, when you reach it, you will tell the story someday. Like, you will actually tell the story someday. There will come a day where you will gather around your wife and your kids and like your family and the people around you, and you're gonna tell them, you know, it was very lonely for me. I didn't even know if it's gonna work or not. And the thing about it is this, is the harder the story, the more rewarding it is, the greater, like the harder the story of the main character, right? The greater the story. Like, imagine if you watch a movie, right? Imagine if you watch this movie, and inside the movie, like, the main character never struggles. He never has anything hard happen to him, and it's all wonderful and it's all easy, and you know, everything is fun, and he gets rich and he gets jacked and whatever, and nothing bad happens to him. You just think like that's a boring ass movie, like, because it's not relatable. You can't see yourself in the main character, right? You can't see yourself as the person who just never has any struggle. But what we love about the main character in the movie, in like the greatest movies of all time, is the hardship that they encounter, the hard times that they encounter. Like, my favorite movie of all time is Shawshank Redemption. And if you don't know, the movie is basically about this guy, his name is Andy, basically. gets in jail for something he didn't do. And this jail, it's called Shawshank, and this jail, they treat him like very badly. They beat him up, they spit on him, they kick him, they beat him up, like they're brutal, right? This prison is brutal. And years and years and years and years go by, and Andy like gets older. He gets in jail when he's like 20. He stays in there for like 10 years, basically. And one day, the guards go up in Andy's cell, and they knock on him like very, very hard, and they want to beat him up because he's not responding. And they open the cell door, and they find that Andy is not actually in there. So the guy who's like the owner of the prison, right? He's screaming at the guards like, "Where did Andy go?" And he throws this rock, and the rock hits a poster, and the poster like kind of like rips apart. And then he removes the poster, and he finds like a massive tunnel. And Andy escaped Shawshank, which actually no one was able to do at all. It took him 10 years to do that. And it's a fascinating movie. Like I never ever recommend you watch movies on self-improvement, but like this movie, like I think you should probably watch it. It's amazing. But the fact of it is, this is exactly what's happening to you. Like you're in this prison, you're in this very, very hard period of your life, you're probably in like still in school, you're still studying, you're still in these like hard times, in this like everyone thinks like that, like you're normal, right? Like you're still in prison with them, like you're still eating the same food as they do, you're still wearing the same clothes as they do. But what they don't realize is you're actually building a tunnel. You're actually building a massive tunnel that's gonna lead 10 years down the road to your freedom. Your tunnel is your self-improvement. It's your routine. It's you going to the gym. It's you reading. It's you meditating. It's you journaling, right? That is your tunnel. That is your escape plan. That is your light to freedom. So yeah, like all I wanted to say is that you're not alone in this, and I'm in this very moment experiencing exactly what you're experiencing. This lonely chapter. This I can't relate with anyone. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. It's so hard. And the thing about it is this. I always talk about there's like 3 lanes to wealth. There's the sidewalk, the slow lane, and the fast lane. The sidewalk is like 70% of people, 60 to 70% of people, which is when you have money in your hands, you spend it. Like this is like most people basically. It's like 70% of people. Every time they have like just a little bit of money, they spend it on anything. They spend it, and then they end up poor and broke, and they can't find a good wife, and they're losers basically. These are the guys who like play video games all the time, who eat junk food, do all the bad habits. This was like us back in the day. This was like the loser us basically. They eat junk food, they scroll on social media all day, they do all these bad habits, right? They stink, they smell very bad. This is like 70% of people, literally, right? Every time they have a little bit of money, they spend it on anything. They don't have a plan for their money. The second lane, and that's like walking. Like with these 3 lanes of wealth, we're gonna imagine that we have like a destination, and the destination is basically wealth, is being rich. And you have 3 roads. You have the sidewalk, the slow lane, and the fast lane. So the sidewalk is basically walking, and it takes you like, let's say it takes you like a year to get to your destination. This is just an analogy basically. So the sidewalk takes you a year. The other lane is the slow lane, and it's a little bit better than the sidewalk, but it's also very, very terrible. The slow lane is basically like sprinting for 40 years, but it's like you're flat out sprinting for 40 or 50 years basically. So this is like 20% of people, basically 25% of people, all right? And the slow lane is basically like conditioning, like modern day conditioning. Is like go to school, get a job, go to school, go to college, get a job, you know, live paycheck to paycheck, and then when you're like 50 or 60 years old, you'll be able to retire with a few $1,000s a month. Like, it's bullshit. It's like flat out spitting. Like if we say the sidewalk is walking for a whole year, the slow lane is sprinting for 4 months. But there's the fast lane. And the fast lane is the road me and you are on. And the fast lane is exactly like a plane. And if the sidewalk is walking and it takes you a year, the slow lane is sprinting, flat out sprinting, and it takes you 4 months. The fast lane is flying a plane and it takes you 4 hours. Think about that for a second. You are on the road that will get you to your destination in 4 hours. Let me just explain the fast lane for a second. The fast lane is basically entrepreneurship, it's building businesses, it's making content, you know, it's value times leverage times consistency, the wealth equation, the infinite money equation I always talk about. It's leverage work, basically. The path you're on. But what happens when a plane wants to go to a destination? The pilot starts the engine with everyone else inside, and he slowly drives the plane, drives. And the thing is, the plane is so heavy, and he's pushing against, you know, all this forces against him. He's pushing against it all, and he just keeps pushing and pushing, and the plane goes faster and faster, right? And the plane goes faster and faster, right? But the thing is, it keeps pushing against this force. It keeps pushing against all this air and all this gravity and whatever. It keeps pushing against it, and the plane is so heavy. And actually, the pilot, when he's, you know, flying the plane, in the beginning, in like the beginning part where he's like on the like ground, where he's like driving the plane on the ground, he actually burns 25% of the fuel or gas or whatever. He burns 25%, but he doesn't worry because he knows this is the hardest part. And he keeps pushing, and then eventually it takes off. And when it takes off, when you're in like the air, when you're up in the air, you, like, he just uses barely any fuel, and he's like gliding now, right? You're in the air, you're flying. This is exactly what's happening to you. What's happening is you're in the fast lane, you're in the fast way to make money. You're driving a plane, right? But the thing is, you're still in that beginning part. You're still in that phase where you're riding a plane, you're flying a plane, sorry. And you're just pushing slowly. You keep pushing. And the thing is, you have all this force against you. You know, loneliness. You can't relate to anyone. Everyone's against you. People hate on you in the comments. Like, it just sucks. It fucking sucks, right? Just everything is against you, and you're pushing, and you're slowly moving the plane. By what? By your habits, by going to the gym, by meditating, by journaling, by reading, by creating content on your niche, right? By giving value. You're just pushing against all this. And you keep pushing, and it's taking so much energy. You're burning so much fuel, right? And you keep pushing, and then eventually you get faster, and then you take off. And when you take off, there's just no better feeling ever than that. The thing about it is this: The slow lane, it takes 40 to 50 years. The fast lane takes 2 to 5 years. But those first 2 years, they are essential. Like, I know it's in the beginning when a plane takes off, like, it takes off in what? Like 5 minutes? Maximum 5 minutes it takes off. But for you, it's not 5 minutes, it's 2 years. The first 2 years where you're pushing against everything, that's the plane taking off, basically. All right, so yeah, the message I just want to give you is you're not alone in this. You really are not. I am alone in this with you. We are alone in this together. And I promise you, you promise me that we'll just never give up. We'll keep going. Every single day, meditating, journaling, you know, working out, reading, doing all these habits every single day, every single day, every single day. No matter what happens, no matter the emotions, masculinity is discipline. Masculinity, being masculine, being a man, is discipline, is acting in spite of your emotions. All right? It's doing the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. So no matter what happens, we keep going, we keep going, we keep going. We never, ever, ever give up, ever. That's not even a word in our dictionary, bro. All right? We keep going. No matter how lonely it gets, no matter what happens, we just keep going and going and going and going and going. All right? You're not alone in this. And as always, we're in this together and we will make it.